Troublemaker!
Rare is one of, if not the most well-known video game developer of all time. Responsible for such classics as Donkey Kong Country, Banjo-Kazooie, Killer Instinct, and GoldenEye 007, Rare has a pretty outstanding track record. But let's rewind a bit. Let's go back when the once mighty Rare was just two brothers with a knack for video games. Welcome to K.I.A Gaming, and this is the complete history of Rare. The year is 1982, and two British ex-arcade developers named Tim and Chris Stamper started a company named Ashby Computers and Graphics, better known as Ultimate Play the Game. Despite the Stamper Brothers games being released on multiple consoles, the brothers were mostly known for their titles released on the ZX Spectrum home computer. In 1984, the brothers discovered the Famicom, made by a company out of Japan by the name of Nintendo. Seeing the potential the Famicom held, the Stamper Brothers sold part of Ultimate Play the Game to US Gold, and in 1985, formed a subdivision of Ashby Computers and Graphics named Rare. With that, the two brothers went off to Japan to speak with Nintendo about developing games for their consoles. They sealed the deal, and Nintendo allowed Rare to develop games for the Nintendo Entertainment System. With the huge profit Rare made from developing games for the NES, Rare decided to purchase several Silicon Graphics workstations, which made them one of the most technologically advanced developers on the planet. Their advances with 3D technology using the SGI systems impressed Nintendo, and in 1994, the company bought 49% of Rare, making them a second-party developer for Nintendo. Nintendo gave Rare a choice of any Nintendo franchise to use in their new game. Ultimately, Rare chose Donkey Kong, and on November 21st, 1994, Donkey Kong Country was released in North America on the Super Nintendo. Revolutionary 3D render graphics, catchy music, and fun gameplay made the game a smash hit, and it ended up selling over 9 million copies and was the second best-selling game on the Super Nintendo. Banjo-Kazooie, a game released a little under a year after GoldenEye 007, was a platformer inspired by Super Mario 64. The game was a commercial success and saw near-perfect scores from critics. Since then, Banjo and Kazooie have become sort of an unofficial mascot for the company. As Rare continued to develop Donkey Kong Country games with the Super Nintendo, they also began making preparations for Nintendo's new home console, the Nintendo 64. Their first major success on the system was GoldenEye 007, which almost single-handedly transformed the first-person shooter genre into what we know it as today. With features like headshots, reloading, and a fun multiplayer mode, GoldenEye 007 received rave reviews and became the third best-selling game on the system, selling over 8 million copies. After the success of games like GoldenEye 007, Banjo-Kazooie, and Diddy Kong Racing, the Stamper Brothers wanted to make a new first-person shooter game with its own original story and characters. The final product was Perfect Dark. The game had overall good reviews, but didn't sell nearly as well as GoldenEye 007. One of the reasons for this was that it came out near the end of the N64's lifetime. After Perfect Dark, Rare released Conker's Bad Fur Day, a game about a drunken scroll named, well, Conker. Because of its raunchy humor, the game received an M rating. Critics loved it, but the game sales were terrible. Like Perfect Dark, one of the reasons for the game's low sales is because it was released near the end of the N64's lifetime, and it was one of the last games released on the system. For some time, Rare had been working on an N64 game by the name of Dinosaur Planet, but was changed to Star Fox Adventures at the request of Shigeru Miyamoto. The change was made when Miyamoto noticed a striking resemblance between Fox McCloud and Saber, one of the main protagonists of Dinosaur Planet. Now, Shigeru Miyamoto is known by many as the father of gaming, a man who has made only but few mistakes in the 40 years he's been in the business. The change of Dinosaur Planet to Star Fox Adventures is considered by many to be his greatest. Less than 48 hours after the release of Star Fox Adventures, Microsoft Corporation bought 100% of Rare for $377 million. Star Fox Adventures would be the last game Rare made for a Nintendo home console, and the only game Rare ever made for the Nintendo GameCube. After the acquisition of Rare, Microsoft allowed them to develop games for Nintendo's Game Boy Advance, since Microsoft was not competing in the handheld market. These games include It's Mr. Pants, Banjo-Kazooie Grunty's Revenge, and Banjo Pilot. The first game Rare developed for Microsoft's Xbox was Grabbed by the Ghoulies, which received mediocre reviews. Needless to say, the game sales were horrible. The next game Rare developed for the Xbox would be Conquer Life Reloaded. The game saw relatively good reviews from critics and had overall good sales. Microsoft then shifted Rare to start developing games for their upcoming console, the Xbox 360. Rare released 2 games at launch, Cameo Elements of Power and Perfect Dark Zero. Cameo Elements of Power focuses around an elf character that can shift shape into different creatures. The game was well received and sold good. Perfect Dark Zero, however, had mediocre sales and wasn't received well from fans of the original N64 classic. After the launch of the Xbox 360, founders Chris and Tim Stamford left the company to, quote, pursue other interests. Rare later made a new Banjo-Kazooie game, titled Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts. The game flopped mainly because the gameplay focused around building vehicles, which other than the characters, had absolutely nothing to do with the original Nintendo 64 titles. Since 2010, Microsoft has had Rare exclusively working on the Xbox Kinect. Although they're not nearly close to being the gaming giant they once were, Rare's classic titles will surely stand the test of time for many, many years to come. I'm Josh for K.I.A Gaming, and this has been the complete history of Rare. Hey everyone, Josh here. I just wanted to thank you all for watching, and if you liked this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. And hey, while you're at it, why don't you hit that subscribe button? Again, thanks for watching.